My name is Lisa Brown and I'm the Community Relations Manager at Hospice Care Inc. Hospice Care is a nonprofit hospice. We serve patients and families in 5 southern Wisconsin counties, all of Dane, all of Rock, and then almost all of Greene, Walworth, and Jefferson counties. And my job is also comparable to another person in Madison. I take care of the patients and families in our Janesville office, and then we have somebody that does outreach and education in our Madison office as well. So I'm kind of the storyteller. The most rewarding part of the work that I do is I get to hear family stories. I get to know that when they see me at an event and they grab my hand and they say, "Thank you for the work you do, you people are angels," that they understand the value to what we do. I don't think, to a lot of our staff members, it's not just a job. We're very integrated into that family. But to be able to watch their struggle, but then to turn around and offer help and support so that that family member can go back to being a husband, wife, daughter, sister, spouse, instead of the 24-hour caregiver, so that we can make those remaining moments with their family member treasured instead of work. That's the part that's important. As a student at UW-Whitewater, I think my biggest accomplishment was being a part of the business marketing group, being part of the PRSSA, and as you said, being a non-traditional student, to be a part of that student organization as an older adult certainly was a little different. And yet through the PRSSA group, then we were introduced to the Business Marketing Association for Milwaukee, and I found that to be really valuable. Again, that was a commitment, a longer day, a longer night, to go to Milwaukee to those meetings, but that was really valuable in a lot of the connections that I made in putting what we were learning in the classroom into real life, what's happening in the field. And consequently, they offered a scholarship, and I was the very first recipient of that scholarship. And that took care of paying summer tuition for my classes that summer, and that was huge. That was a nice achievement. That was probably the one that I was most proud about. What was an obstacle? An obstacle was that my dad died while I was in college. He died, matter of fact, this time of year. He died right at Thanksgiving time, which is midterm project time. And I went into one of my classes and my professor said, "Why are you even here?" And I said, "Because this is structured and this is what I feel like I need to do." And he said, "No, you need to go home and you need to be with your mom and your dad." And I needed that permission because we were on deadline. And the nice thing was that they said, "You've proven yourself. We know who you are." It was a professor that I had previously. "Go do what you need to do, but this project is due. You'll get it in. Go do what you need to do." So that semester, juggling when my dad was very ill, when we were helping caregive and then grieve, certainly was hard. Certainly was very hard. And that was a big obstacle, absolutely. We have hired a social media expert, and that person is doing more with social media, with Facebook, with Twitter, but also doing a lot more to continue to build and establish those relationships with traditional media, such as the newspapers, such as some of the reporters and the advertisers, those kinds of traditional routes, because our demographic is a caregiver or is a patient. We do have patients of all ages. We admitted a 9-year-old child last week. So who are their caregivers? Well, their caregivers are their parents. They might have Facebook knowledge. They might have email. I'm presuming they probably have email and web kinds of things. We've done studies. The average caregiver has a pocket of time between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. that they might be on the computer looking for resources. Well, how do we drive them to our website? We certainly look at that. How do we drive them to our fundraising efforts, our special events? We struggle with that. We have to look at non-traditional methods. I run every month a community education event. on a variety of different topics. Might be we facilitate it, we might bring in an expert from outside of the organization, such as somebody from the Alzheimer's organization. How do we get that information out to the community so that I'm not sitting here with a presenter in a room of 2 people or no people? And what we find is that one of our good contacts are faith communities, churches and church bulletins. Does everybody go to church? Nope. So where else can we find to get that information out? And a lot of what we do is when we have people that come to those events, if they're willing to share their contact information, then I loop something for them every month. But that gets to be very time consuming as well. So we absolutely have to look at outside. That's part of the reason I go and am at a lot of senior fairs and expos and very large events where people come to you so they can see that who you are out there. And interestingly enough, it's just working with people, and it's also getting to know yourself. It's knowing what are your skills, your strengths, your study habits, your work habits. Are you a detailed list maker? Do you get things done ahead of time? Do you fly by the seat of your pants? Knowing yourself, but also bringing in some of that working with other people. I've been in retail for almost 30 years, and so 25 plus years. And so you get to know people. You get to know personalities that you can tolerate for short times. You get to know people that you like and kind of are drawn to. You get to know people that you don't trust. You start to bring a lot of that into your work ethic and your experience, and again, the end result. I've told my kids, we had a situation with one of my boys in school, and I've told them, you don't always have to like somebody you work with enough to go to lunch, have drinks afterwards, go to dinner, buy them a Christmas gift, but you have to like them enough to get through the project to the end result for the greater good of the goal in the organization. And you will not always work well with everybody you spend time with, but you have to sometimes look past the personality quirks. You have to look past their flaws or your flaws, and again, for the greater good, reach that goal. And that was a hard lesson sometimes, and you can't control everybody. Sometimes you don't have to be the one to take charge, and that's hard to do sometimes as well. That was a good question.